everyone, and welcome to Take a Pause with Menopause, where we will talk about the pause in all of her glory and not so glory. But that's true. But where we will always have honest, real, and really funny conversations. We find the humor whenever we can. I mean, what's happening is interesting, so you got to be able to laugh at it sometimes. So I am happy to be today joined again with my partner in menopause, Debbie. Hello, Debbie. And we are so excited to be joined again with Kate Wells, who is the co-founder of Parlor Games. She is the creator of Silky Peach. There's Debbie. Of course.
It's hard to see. I know.
We'll share more later.
A biochem expert and just amazing, empowering woman to be here with us again. So we are just so excited to be speaking with you, and we can let you say your hi, and in case everybody doesn't know, with Debbie as your personal sponsor there, all about
there you go.
All about the Silky Peach cream.
All about the Silky Peach cream, which is amazing. Hey, it is getting to be peach season, right?
Once you start using Silky Peach cream, it's peach season all year.
It's
all the time. Yeah.
And this is why we love you, Kate. So, hi, welcome.
Well,
thank you.
Okay, really quick though, we are going to be talking about breast health during menopause. So it's not just about the peachy cream. We have some very serious topics. So now we'll go back to Kate. So
Yes.
don't go away. This is very important.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I'm just delighted to be back again. I was so overjoyed that you to hear about your proclamation and see the video from that. I just have to hand it to you two for being right out there and raising the bar on the quality of conversation, bringing good information, and particularly excited today to talk about breast health because it is so confusing, and women are afraid to use estrogen because of all the mixed messaging around breast health, and so it's just really good to have this conversation. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you. Yes, thank you, because it is something like we were mentioning earlier. It is something that I think the black label came off, but the stigma still stayed. So there's still some, providers that, holds, nope, if you have breast cancer, you can't use, HRT, you can't have estrogen. And it's frightening still that is like out there. So we figured, what better expert than you to help us really just take the label and the stigma off of it, and have hopefully women, after you hear this, ladies, you'll have a better understanding of how you can continue to use estrogen to help you. So that, that's the takeaway. Right, Debbie?
It is a takeaway, but I would love to ask Kate, why is this conversation so powerful today in women's health?
Okay. Well, we go back to the Women's Health Initiative study that was stopped well over 20 years ago, almost 24 years ago now, because there was this, as it turns out, false messaging that estrogen causes cancer. It's turned out to be nonsense. There are definitely some risks to heart health for using the synthetic hormones, but there was a whole generation of women who were denied or heavily discouraged from using hormone replacement because there was this misunderstanding and this myth associated with these results that falsely stated that estrogen causes cancer. It's not the case at all. Now, we do have to be concerned about breast health when women hit menopause, and it's because they are losing estrogen, it's because they are losing progesterone. Those two hormones in their bioidentical form, like we make in our bodies, those are actually essential for breast health. And so it's no wonder around menopause there's a potential risk for breast cancer to increase. It's because we are making less and less of those protective hormones.
Right.
So again, it's vital that we change the messaging on that. And I think some doctors are gradually starting to feel a little braver about that. But the more we go to our own practitioners and say, no, bioidentical hormones will help me, will protect me, the more we encourage those doctors to go learn what is the real science.
Yeah, because I think, if you understand, like the preventative is always best too, like getting your mammograms and everything, and just, but I think when people go through a menopause, you sort of like everything gets lumped all into one thing. It's like, oh, I'm having hot flashes and I'm having this, and you worry because your libido goes. So you sort of think about different areas, and I think the breasts sort of get lost in the middle. No pun intended,
Right.
but you know what I mean? Like, and and people are like, oh, I go for my mammograms, but they don't correlate like how estrogen is needed for multiple systems in the body to work. And
Right.
when it decreases, things go terribly awry.
Yes, they do.
So as a woman, what should we be aware of each month, and what should we be doing to make sure we are keeping track?
Well, one of the things that is critical is knowing our own baseline, knowing how we feel when things are healthy. So keeping track of that. And of course, you do breast exams yourself in the shower, or, if you're lying down, just checking. But you mentioned the term prevention, and screening is definitely a component of prevention. But there's so much more that we can do to prevent cancerous cells becoming a tumor in our bodies. What is this? There's a little nugget here that I'd love our listeners to understand, is that the body is always making cancer cells, and our immune system comes along and says, nom, 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 and gets rid of those cancer cells. I mean, I'm not quite sure it makes that kind of sound, but you know what I mean. Yeah, that's your immune system at work.
I can't even do that. I love it.
It's great. It reminds me of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Right.
See, but I did not know that. I did not know that our body is making the cancer cells, and then we have our protection that comes in and tries to clear it. I had no idea. I thought it just randomly, if you got it, you got it. I did not know that we all have a chance of getting it.
Right. There's a process that the immune system has called apoptosis, where it will, kill off cells that are not needed, or cells that have come to the end of their life. And so the immune system will identify harmful cells and get rid of them. Now, as we get older and we have more toxins in our body, or toxicants in our body, and we challenge our immune system by not keeping it healthy, that reduces the capacity of the immune system to come along and vacuum up all the bad bits that are floating around in there. So true prevention is making sure that we keep our bodies as clean as possible. Watching what we eat, eating organic wherever we can, just because the chemicals used in our food are a great source of toxicants into the body. Making sure that we exercise so that we are sweating toxicants out and then quickly showering so we rinse them off. Making sure that we have enough fiber in our food so that our waste is moving quickly through the body. The minute you get to like a constipated state, you're slowing down the movement of, not just solid matter, but all the toxicants that it's carrying. You're slowing how quickly those are moving from the body, and so they have a chance to be reabsorbed. So it's a multitude of things that helps keep our body healthy and clean, all our moving systems. And one of the things that is particularly important about breast health is there's no muscle there. It's mainly fatty tissue and ligaments. And so it's not like we can exercise them to start moving toxins out. Although I'm going to age myself, I remember being in gym class in my teens, and we did these exercises like I must
increase
my
bust. I did those too. I heard that in a Oh my gosh,
It doesn't
There's
work.
a whole
I can tell you,
generation
it
of women
I thought
going,
it did.
oh,
I
yeah.
thought it did.
I mean, I would walk home from school. We were all like, us girls were doing it. Like, we
Right.
must build up our breasts, and we honestly felt.
We must.
What, isn't that what it was? Build up our breasts? Isn't that what we
So
said?
must improve our bust. We must,
our
we
bust.
must.
Our bust.
Must improve our bust. So
Yeah.
I know we can laugh now at that about how almost ridiculous we must have looked in gym class. However, what that exercise was doing was moving the fluid in the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is one of our drainage processes that moves toxins out into our lymph glands and then for excretion. And so we actually have to find a way to move the tissue in the breast because, if we exercise, there aren't any muscles in there. It's not like,
Right.
the calves on your legs or the thighs on your legs. And so there's a technique called feathering. And feathering is where you just take your hand and move it over the surface of the breast so that you are moving that lymphatic system or the fluid in the lymphatic system that is, pulling toxins out, getting that lymphatic system moving. So you can do that. So breast health is this combination of so many things over which we have great degree of control. So that's some really cool news that it's really important that we share, I think.
So
That.
like
Yeah.
so lifting weights, they say how important it is when you're our age and younger. We should be protein and lifting weights. And I do feel like I've been working on lifting weights a lot more than ever, and I do feel like some of the, even the doing this, I do feel like I'm getting a little bit stronger, and I do feel like it's helping push them up a little bit, or it could be the HRT I'm taking.
Yeah. Well, you
No,
do
I'm
have
just-
you have your lateral muscles that go across
So
here.
wouldn't that help?
Yeah.
And that is definitely helping. And then all that movement that go, you're going up and down with your arms, that will be supporting that lymphatic system drainage. Yeah. That's
That's
helping.
so amazing. I didn't know any of that because I do know somebody that they had they have to go back in 6 months to go get a breast mammogram because they saw something. But this woman has dense breast tissue.
I do too.
Normally, and so they just saw it, and she said that the doc was like, no, I'm not concerned, but we'll come back in 6 months. But I do know that she said she did stop, she was having more glasses of alcohol through the week, or and just really is, I guess, trying to see if everything that she's doing wrong, if that occurred, and now she's doing stuff right, if that will help. So I told her, I was like, please let me know, and we're going to have this podcast so I can find out any other techniques for you.
Yeah.
But because I think that is scary, you do get that mammogram that is somewhat normal, but then they just see something that's it's not a lump, it's just whatever it is. But
Right.
I like the whole feathering thing because
I've never heard of that.
No. No, because you don't know what to do. You go for your screenings, like I said, and it's like, oh, that's it. But it's really not. There's so much more that you can still do.
Yeah. And some people get kind of a little dismayed about mammograms. And we do know that, mammograms are definitely one of the tools available. If I can mention another one, which is thermography. And therm, there's the word heat. And you are using a heat camera to look at breast activity. So let's go back to those little cluster of cancer cells. If they gain some ground, the first thing that little group of cancer cells need if they're going to start to form a tumor is food. And their food is glucose.
Yeah.
And they get hold of glucose by pulling it from the bloodstream. So one of the very first things that a group of cancer cells has to do to feed itself is to develop a blood supply. And that blood supply shows heat. So if you take a thermal camera and point it at the breast. And you see clusters of red heat. It shows up red on a thermogram. That's a possible indicator that something is not how it should be. Because just that process of how a group of cancer cells or a tumor works, was like glucose, glucose, glucose. Where am I going to get it? From the bloodstream. Oh, like let's make lots of little capillaries so that we can get hold of that glucose and feed ourselves. And so, sure, you're standing there in front of a camera, and the camera is pointing at you, and if it comes up all blue and green, life is good. But if you're seeing some orange and some red in there, that's where you may have something that you want to dig into. There may be some, blood supply beginning to develop in a place that it shouldn't be. So that is a really useful tool that is non-invasive and non-squishy.
Yeah.
The key to it is doing it every year so that you're seeing any changes. And if you do it every year, you tend to see that really early function or dysfunction going on long before you would see it in a mammogram.
That's amazing. How do we get this ordered? Have you ever, have you gone and, you asked the doctor, can you do this?
Most of the time, this is not, unless you have the most amazing health insurance, this won't be covered by insurance, so you're paying out of pocket. So what I have done is I would search the internet and find someone who is certified in thermography. And does thermograms. It's a very straightforward process. I mean, it's a little bit of prep in that you don't drink hot drinks or anything that could change the temperature in that area. You don't exercise or anything, but it takes less than half an hour, including, all the conversation ahead of time. So it's really quick, and find someone who has a thermography setup in your local area.
That is amazing, because it's sort of it's even like a precursor for the mammogram. You know what I mean? You could see something there that, you've been checking, and it comes up quicker than it would maybe on a that is amazing. Well, yes, I know I'm going to check into that and see, because it's something that is so simple. You know what I mean? I anything that you can do to check out how your insides are and just give you that yearly checkup, I think it settles your mind, because things are terribly awry sometimes. I mean, we have the chemicals and the pollutants in the air, we have what we're eating, with everything like that, and you try to eat organic and try to do, I'm now drinking wine that's no alcohol in it. It's grape juice, but I
haven't got there yet, so I'm not at that point. But I do notice a difference, honestly. If I don't have the alcohol in the evening, I feel better in the morning, and I do know there's a difference. I do know I get more hot flashes if I do have a beverage, an alcohol beverage. So I do see that. Are there certain other kinds of things we should stay away?
It's the sugars that I'm concerned with the alcohol and everything, with all the Kate was saying, the glucose and everything. That's for me, right? Is that
a component of it? Is glucose, yes, because the glucose is too much of it is inflammatory. Your body doesn't want that, and your immune system has to work hard to break it down. The other aspect of alcohol, there are plenty of research studies now which link consumption of alcohol with risk for cancer, particularly colon cancer and breast cancer. And so what happens when you drink, one of the things that your liver is responsible for is breaking down the alcohol, and it breaks it down into metabolites. And some of the metabolites of alcohol can cause DNA damage. And that's where when we talk about cancer cells forming, when you get damaged DNA, you get missed messages. And that can lead to cancer cell formation. So the alcohol particularly has that capacity to do that damage, which can lead to tumor development. So, yeah, I think that's one of the safest things, or no, not safest, that's the wrong word. One of the most proactive things that we can do for ourselves is decide to limit how much alcohol we're going to put in, just because we're overloading our liver and our liver's capacity to break things down.
Perfect. And I'm sorry, Debbie. I know you were going to
Sorry.
say something before you were asking a question. Yeah.
No, I was talking about that, but I'm switching it over. So alcohol could be, it is for me sometimes. But the other issue I have a hard time sleeping, and I'm not getting enough sleep. And I feel like when you're not, the brain fog comes in more. I mean, is there some tips you can give us to maybe, help us get better sleep? So if we get better sleep, we're going to be healthier. It's tough. I mean, I still wake up at 2 or 3 every morning, wide awake, like, oh, my mind is spinning.
Yeah. Well, first off, let's just think about alcohol and what it does and how it does disrupt sleep. When we drink alcohol, it increases glutamate, which is one of our excitatory neurotransmitters. So it kind of wakes us up a little bit. And, when we're tired at the end of the day and we're like, oh God, that was such a day. I deserve a drink of wine. Yeah. I deserve. That is going to make you feel pretty darn good because you've got a little bit of like
for the moment.
Glutamate.
Yeah.
And it will also make GABA. And GABA, of course, is one of our calming neurotransmitters. Now, both of those neurotransmitters will break down, but they break down at slower rates. GABA wears off faster than the glutamate does. So even though GABA is calming, and we take that glass of wine, we're like, we're going to get rid of that feeling faster than we're going to get rid of the wired and happy, like excited feeling. And so with elevated levels of glutamate, by the time we've had 3 or 4 glasses of wine in the evening, the brain is like, it might be tired, but it's going to have a hard time, falling to sleep and staying asleep. So that's a little bit of what's going on when you're drinking wine. But other things that you can do, one of my favorite amino acids, and I use this every night, is glycine. Glycine is a very calming neurotransmitter, or amino acid, I should say. And so that maybe think about adding that into your evening.
Yeah.
So is
routine.
glycine is it a powder? Is it a
It's
capsule?
often in a little capsule. Yeah. Sometimes it can be in a drink. That'll get you very fast absorption. I take it as a capsule because I know it's going to break down just a little bit slower and just last a little bit longer through the night.
Okay, that's a good tip then.
So glycine is something that can help. And of course, progesterone. Progesterone is critical for helping with sleep. And I know
I've taken mine every night and it has not helped yet. And it's been, I think I'm on month 4. So, or maybe I don't have enough of it. I'm going to get, rechecked with my labs. My labs got done. So I'll know soon. But I just know there's so many women out there who are in the same position. Like your mind just starts spinning, whether you have alcohol or not. Even when I don't, I still feel like my hormones are still trying to figure out where they're going to land. And it would just be nice to have those tips from you so we could at least start with, what can we do like right now? Yes, we don't need that glass of wine at night. Yes, maybe we take, the glycine. What would be some other tips that any woman could do?
So another good friend of mine, she decided, she was taking alcohol out. That was it, she was done. But she would find herself at the end of the day just like wired after the intensity of the day and needing to calm down. And so she started using our Chaos Calmer, which is what it's for.
What is that?
And that's a combination of L-theanine and GABA and magnesium. So that combination is calming. It's telling the brain it's all right, calm down, you can relax, you can chill. And that gets you through that window at the end of the day where you've just been super busy and lots of things to juggle. to a point where your brain is calmer. And when your brain is calmer, then you can make some of those more self-supporting decisions because you're coming at it from a calm place as opposed to a panicked place.
Right. Now, are there hormones? Are there any hormones in the, what is it?
No, there's no hormones in that one. That's hormone-free.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So that
And
way,
magnesium is critical for our bodies. You know, sometimes people will wake up in the night with restless legs. That's a sure sign that they don't have enough magnesium. So making sure you have that over the course of the day. You can't just take one big dose of magnesium for the day because there's only so much that can be absorbed at once and the rest will just spill from the body. So magnesium is best spaced through the course of the day. And I mentioned glycine at bedtime. Magnesium glycinate is also a form of magnesium which can really help with sleep as well, particularly if someone gets those restless legs, which wakes you.
oh, those restless legs are crazy. I call them Jimmy legs. I don't know why, but we would always, and it is something like when you, like Debbie, when you say, when you follow and you are on like a strict, you know, you do the magnesium, you do everything, right? And you fall asleep and your sleep is great, and then like one off goes off and then you wake up, you're able to figure out what was wrong. Like just recently I haven't been getting, just because of being busy over the weekend, didn't get all of the protein that I needed, right? I knew because at 3 o'clock I woke up and I was hungry. I haven't woken up at 3 a.m. But I get up at 3 a.m. and I was like, oh my God, I did not eat all of my protein. I didn't get the fiber. Like I knew that I was lacking in that. Woke up, and then when I finally got up at like 5:36, I was starving. And I was like, well, that explains it. Like that, for me, that explained it. And then the next day I made sure I got all of my protein, got all my fiber, did everything that I normally do, did not skip a step, slept like a baby. So it's like when you are so into like a nice little schedule and then one thing changes, or you know, you're at work later or whatever, I think for me sometimes that's just enough to kick you right into not sleeping as well as you normally would. So
Right. Yeah, very much. And sleep is the time when our bodies do their repair work. You know, when our immune system is in action. You know, our brains may be asleep, but our immune system is in a sort of frantic cleaning process. You know, if you think about offices where everybody goes home and then the cleaning crew comes out, that's what's happening in our bodies when we go to sleep. And so the better our sleep, the more restorative it is. It's not only helping our brains feel good, but it's doing that cleanup throughout the body as well. And of course, supporting that with fluids to make sure that the colon can move stuff along and that the kidneys can clear stuff out. That is critical as well.
So
now I'm sorry, Debbie. So
No,
I know we're
I-
both so excited to talk with Kate. We're like, and
I
then,
know.
yeah.
No, well, she mentioned hydration. I mean, I sometimes I'm so good at that, and then I go for a week, and I'm like, my lips are dry. I just feel bloated, and I look at them and go, what happened? And then I'll think, oh, I haven't drank any water in the last 3 days, and I can really go that long. So, is there a tip you can give us, or is there something we can put in the water?
We're
I
just
don't know, but
Yeah,
I-
there.
this one
Oh,
helps
I
me.
like that.
It's like, you know, and you get to the bottom,
that's
you're
great.
like,
You
Yeah.
did. You know what? It's that motivation.
it
You know,
is.
I wish we didn't have to do that. I know when I first was good, I would say I'm going to drink so many ounces, and when I would finish, let's say a 12 ounce, I'd put a check mark. So I would say I just finished so many ounces. I put a check mark. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, yes, I have all my check marks. But that's the same idea. Is there, is there a way to know how? I mean, people say depending on how much you weigh, what's the easiest way to know what would be amount that's healthy for an individual?
Well, we do know in general that 8 cups a day of fluid is a good target. So 64 ounces, and I think that's why that one is at 32. And if you get two of those,
Oh.
you're like,
That's a lot of water.
you know. Um, and so just, I think routine is important. If we go back to how our bodies evolved, walking in the plains, hundreds of thousands of years ago, we had access to water as we were moving around. We would just drink naturally. We would sip naturally. We don't live particularly natural lives anymore compared to how our bodies evolved. And so we have to set ourselves up for success. It's one of the things I do when I get to my office in the morning. It's like I feel this, and I know I'm just going to work my way through it. But I also have I have a cup of coffee in the morning, and then I usually have a couple of cups of green tea in the afternoon because those are kind of calming. And sometimes sipping something hot is less about hydration, more about soothing the body.
Yeah.
You're not taking big gulps of water, which can be a shock to the system. So sipping continuously just helps keep things lubricated. So, so a great analogy on this is cars. We need oil. Engines, all those engines need oil. They need oil moving through them. And when we're good, when we're very, very good, we make sure that the oil gets changed every few thousand miles. We pull out all the bits of dirt and stuff that got in there, and that keeps that engine moving smoothly. It's the same with water. We have to keep our lymphatic system moving smoothly, keep our blood flowing. All the moisture that's in that, in the gaps in between all our cells in our body, just little sips of water helps keep us going through that. And if you're really struggling, use a straw. It's so much easier to suck through a straw.
That's funny. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because it is something. You have to get the protein. You got to get the fiber. You got to get the water, you got to get, and like Debbie says with the checks, that's usually what I'm doing at the end of the day, like checking, like, okay, I made sure, my water bottle that I take to work, it's like a 5-pound weight practically, you know what I mean? Like you have, it's like, but I make sure that you drink that. So it's like you do the little check, like, oh, I drank the water, got the protein, got this, and it's like, okay. And, but it is, I do like your cup there because it is a reminder. Like you can look at it, like Debbie, if you see that it's 3 p.m.
I'd be like,
and you're still at the 10 a.m. level.
Yeah, I would be in trouble. That would be me.
Right.
But it's those simple ways that you're sharing with us to help us hit those goals. Because I think that's we're all overwhelmed between all these checklists that women have to do throughout the day, and just one more thing to add to your list to check.
So let me just speak about something here is, whether we want to think about it as having a responsibility to care for ourselves, or whether it's giving ourselves the permission to care for ourselves, we must do that. I know I'm sure I said this, last time when we were chatting, is like we have so much to bring to the world. We have kindness and grace, as well as our smarts and our capabilities. We have so much to bring to the world. And why would we not take care of ourselves? We would take care of a car to make sure the car worked so that we could get to work, to do our things, to change the world, whatever it is we're doing, to help others or whatever, build things. So why would we not take care of ourselves? And I think our culture has worked hard to make sure women put themselves second or third or fourth, and we have to stop that nonsense. We have to give ourselves permission and feel, I don't think proud is the right word, or even justified, but we have to be absolutely okay with putting ourselves first, like it's natural.
Right. Again, another, you do it, the more you do it, the easier it becomes, because it does feel strange, because I would give water to anybody. I would do anything, and you're like, oh, it's been 3 days since I had water, it's like, just, how easy, like once you slip into that, well, let me care for others, and then you put yourself, it's a slippery slope.
But don't you find that starting as a child, you want to please your parents, you want to please your friends, you want to be loved, you want to be accepted, and it just keeps continuing. So now all of a sudden you're a teenager, you're still doing it. Oh, now you have your first real job, and you want to do good, so you're busy pleasing everybody else around you. And I feel like women tend to do that. I could be wrong. I know me as a woman, I tend to want to please everybody and want everybody happy, everybody healthy, everybody's ready. Before I even think about taking a moment to go, I'm going to go down and get a glass of water. I mean, it may be 10 o'clock at night and I'm finally saying, I haven't gone to the bathroom, I haven't had water, but everybody else has been taken care of. So it's giving, and I'm the worst one to even say this, is to give yourself permission to take care of yourself. Or to go take that half-hour walk, or to go to the gym, or just to like eat breakfast. I mean, all those simple things that can really make a difference in our daily, how we live, how we breathe, how we feel. And I struggle with that. Like, it's hard for me to put myself first. And I know that's not a good thing. I'm aware of it. I know it's one of my faults. Yeah. But I'm sure I'm not the only one out there who is saying, I'm trying to put myself first. Every time I try, something comes up where I have to take care of it. And not that I even have to take care of it. Right. We feel we have to take care of it. Is there something that, like a tip you can tell us? Like, oh, yes. Like a mantra? Some kind of tip to get this out of our head that we have to do.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because this is how women will hold other people. Hopefully your girlfriends, your friends will help you hold yourself accountable to care for yourself. That's what I always, So
that's a good way to put it. Yeah. So help us.
So I do have this this mantra that I have developed over the last 4 or 5 years, really, when I've been in this partner relationship with this wonderful man in my life. I was used to being in charge, used to being in control, used to directing things. It was my responsibility. And when you step into truly deep work of living with another, if you're for someone like me to do that successfully, you have to start this mantra. Is that mine? Is it not mine? Is it mine? Is it not mine? And I, obviously practiced this within myself in relation to him. It's been transformative. And that practice of doing that in my head with him has allowed me to relax a little bit. I didn't need to be in charge of everything.
Can you explain that, though, what you mean by is it mine, is it not mine? What do you mean by that?
So is this mine to solve? Is this mine to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this my responsibility?
Is it mine? Is it mine? Yeah. So do I have to take this on and do something about it and make it happen, or not? Blah, 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 blah.
Yes. And if it's not mine, then let it go.
If it's not mine,
let it go.
Like Mel Robbins says, let it go.
Let them there.
So
let them,
the experience of doing that with him, although he doesn't know that, it's just like internal dialogue going on.
We're not going to tell him.
Do I have to win this one? Is this how the fridge has to be organized? No.
Is that how the dishwasher has to be organized? That's our battle. Let it, right? Not mine.
So that practice has allowed me to really step into, in general, saying no to things, or like, oh no, that's not mine to do. Or even with, my employees, we have such wonderful people on our team, largely women on our team, so very capable. And yet here I was sometimes doing their job. I mean, just stop that. It's not mine. It's hers to do. So that mine, not mine, that mine, not mine, that inquiry to yourself over and over helps you work out really, no, it's not mine. And it's astounding how much space begins to appear when you're not doing all this other stuff that's not yours.
And it's so easy. I like, just this whole concept is so easy. I'm going to try it. I may have self-talk in my head, because I'm like I said about the dishwasher, like, no. it's not mine. It's not. You can do whatever you want. It does free it up, but then I would walk away being like, oh my gosh, I should have probably done that. You should yourself, which is what I always say.
Right.
I stopped saying that word should, because the word should puts you in a guilt situation right from the start.
Yeah.
Oh, I should call my sister, or I should do that. You didn't want to call. You don't want to do what you're doing, but you're going to say should. Right. But I love that. I do love that mantra, Kate. I am going to write that, and I'm going to say that. I'm going to practice it.
So, we've been talking about being healthy in the water, the sleep and all that, and we're focusing on breast health. I just want to bring it back to that. If you were to tell a young woman out there, and even a woman my age who's not very good at getting things done, what would be like your 3 takeaways that from today you'd want them to put in their mind or write down? These are the 3 things that I can do, not even just today. Let's say I can do this year. Like this year, I'm going to get a mammogram. This year, what are 3 things or things we need to be aware of about our breasts?
Well, I'm going to say first, nutrients, and progesterone in particular is very important for breast health, as is iodine.
Yeah.
So
I
talk
thought that
about
was like
iodine.
thyroid. Yeah, I thought that was just thyroid, but
No, it has a lot of functions within breast tissue as well. And interestingly, the Japanese who eat a lot of seaweed, which contains iodine,
I was just
have
gonna
very
say,
low
how-
incidences of breast cancer.
How do
So
we
iodine
get
is
besides
very
seaweed?
important for breast health.
What
And
else
you can get
could-
iodine supplements.
So
and
this is
then-
the same iodine when we grew up. I would put in baby oil to get tan. The same iodine that was in that little jar.
Well, there's
kind of.
different formats.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yeah,
I may
I would
go
say
get
it's
some
different
and
from
pour
that,
it in. Like,
But
put
you
it on
can.
me.
There are supplements that you can get that contain iodine, and I take a supplement every night.
Okay.
Iodine
what do you
supplement.
take, Kate? Tell me
Yeah.
what is on
product-
your bedside table?
The product
Because
that I use for that is a product called Iodoral, and that's a 13 milligram tab, which I break into 2. And so I have a half, so 5.5 milligrams, 6.6 milligrams every night. So, and then the third nutrient that is really important for breast health is vitamin D.
Oh,
So
yes.
maintaining levels of vitamin D, 75, when you run a blood test, 75 and above is really important for breast health. So nutrients, first of all, progesterone, iodine, and vitamin D. The next one, I think, as we've been talking about, is moving. Whether you're improving your must, or whatever exercise you're doing, because you are getting rid of toxins from your body. And the third one is to do with energy. And once you get into the area of energy medicine and energy healing, again, there is a correlation between those who are used to serving others consistently first and denying their own needs and the development of breast cancer. That is our heart chakra, our fourth chakra, our heart chakra. And that can be associated with sorrow. It can be associated with abuse. It can be associated, with giving all our energy to others. And heartache in that area. There's a correlation there. So really, truly valuing ourselves, not being in love with ourselves, but just valuing ourselves. It's a whole big conversation, not staying in an abusive relationship or something, but the heart chakra, where the breasts are, that is where a lot of energy can get trapped and turn itself back on us. So, watching out for the spiritual aspect of your overall health.
that is so. You know what? I didn't even think about that. And I'm a Reiki master. So I love energy work and everything, but I always do, not just with breast cancer. I have looked around, people that I would know that get cancer are the the ones that put themselves that they're not getting the care, that they're doing so much, and they sort of just, I look at it as they're swallowing everybody else's bad energy, and then that turns into badness form. And that's how I always look. So I always say, that's why I always, I'm verbal, I tell people, but you do still sometimes keep hold of things that you should not. So just that nice little reminder for me is so, it's amazing. Thank you, because I think energy does do a lot.
I'm going to add, I don't even know where this came from, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Get ready.
Oh boy.
Like when you're on Instagram, you're going down that rabbit hole and all we talk about is menopause and woman stuff. So I get lots of stuff on women and communication. I could be wrong. It said that when a man, like let's say he's holding you and he holds your breast, it actually calms him down. There's something about being next to another human, whether it's a hug, whether you're close, it's like the heart to heart or that touch. I know it's kind of all I know is I've seen the difference. I feel like a lot of people were so like not connected. We're on our phones. We sleep this way from each other. We're like so busy that we forget that we could just give our partner, give our best friend a really nice hug and like say, thank you for being my friend. Is there anything to that? I know it's weird, but I'm seeing it all over Instagram right now.
Yeah, it is. It's to do with the hormone oxytocin. Oxytocin is a bonding hormone, and it is extremely calming and soothing. Oxytocin is released, not just when we're in labor to stimulate contractions, but oxytocin is released when we nurse a baby. Both the baby and the mother are experiencing an oxytocin burst.
Wow.
When we hug another who is dear to us, that releases oxytocin, and oxytocin is very calming, as well as being the bonding hormone.
Now, with the whole estrogen, what is the one myth out there that you would like every girl and every woman to know? Like, don't, like, check the facts, ladies, like that you would like to just say is not a
Estrogen does not cause cancer.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted you to verbally say that because I think that's word has that's what it is, and then it just puts such a bad taste in people's mouth that anytime you say, "Oh, I'm taking estrogen," you get that. Oh my gosh, it's like I said the estrogen, and it's
right. I said the E word.
The E word. I know she's never done anything, but she got that. How do you think though? Where do you think that first started from? Like just from the study, or just
it was from the study?
Just from
yes,
that one
where the data was misinterpreted.
I would feel bad if I was that person who started that.
I can guarantee you that they probably don't, since it lasted as long as it did.
Right. It was this misinterpretation that the press got hold of it, and that was that, and that was that, and then it's very hard to retract. Once something's out of the bottle, that's it.
Right, because it doesn't even make sense because our estrogen is decreasing. Like, so it's like she's leaving the building, girls. She's leaving.
No, if estrogen was going to give us cancer, the minute we hit puberty, we'd all get cancer.
Oh my God, Kate, you are amazing, girlfriend. I tell you that I will definitely put that again somewhere because that's absolutely right.
Right. Wow. This study, they were looking at the synthetic hormones.
Right.
And there is a lot to be said for the impact, the negative impact that the synthetic hormones have on heart health. They do have risks associated with them. But there's even more modern research now that suggests for someone who does have active breast cancer, that even the synthetic estrogens may be more protective than not.
Right.
Survival rates are even stronger, even if they're using a synthetic hormone compared to a bioidentical estradiol. So, yeah, science is coming out to get the right message out, which is great.
Well, and I'm proud to say that we're coming out with Kate, and she is getting the word out. So that way, that'll be before the science and before the papers. Like, we're here to tell you, this has to be, yes, I think this needs to be
A conversation.
by so many women out there, because once you get that fear too, I think that you get, people get that fear and it grips you, and then that, like you said, with energy, that totally, it doesn't allow your energy to flow. It just grips you and it holds you down. So I think that take the energy, make it better, don't be fearful. Estrogen is not a bad, she's a good person. I love her. I want her back in my building,
I
which
know.
is why I get my hormones.
I know. You know what? I want to say that some of my biggest takeaways today is that breast health and menopause are deeply connected, and so many women are navigating this, but quietly. They're not sharing it. They're not asking questions. So, for you women out there, you are not alone. Just know that we are here, and there's so many other women, and even small steps, like we mentioned, better sleep, hydration, awareness will make a huge difference. But most importantly, I feel that we need to keep these conversations. We need to keep them going, and that's where the real support comes. So, Kate, your whole crew, your website, your newsletters, I honestly look forward to them, and you're giving us real support. You're giving us conversations to think about and to share with our other friends. So together, we're changing the conversation, and we are so grateful that you are part of this conversation with us so often.
Yes, I'm so grateful too that it was Kate's idea to talk about
I know.
breast health, and because I really do think that our girls, as I call mine, like our girls sort of get lost in the conversation. You know what I mean? Everybody's so concerned with everything else, the hoo-ha, as Debbie likes to not say, but
I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I could
She
say
is.
the VG, whatever bad
but
word
I
ever
think
down there.
it gets lost in translation. So just having this conversation is great, and just knowing that, you know, the progesterone, the iodine, I did not know, but I will be looking those supplements up, and the vitamin D. I think those are something that can be started today along with water. But take your supplements, make sure that your girls are happy, because that's what will keep us happy then too.
And schedule your mammogram.
And your
What's the
thermogram.
other one? Yeah. I'm actually like 3 months late. So this was a good conversation for me. So thank you. I'm just being honest. I'm not the only one out there who's late with their mammogram. I'm just saying I'm going to make it happen because Kate reminded me. Thank you.
Well, I just say yes. Thank you, Kate. Do you have any takeaway or anything that you would like that we haven't spoken about?
I do have one additional thought. I think women can get very leery about talking about breast health in the same way they can get leery about talking about incontinence or vaginal health, because these are areas of the body that have become hypersexualized. We don't have any constraint talking about, you know, tennis elbow or frozen shoulder
Gut
or
health.
dodgy ankles or dodgy knees. And everyone goes, oh yeah, let's talk about that. Let's see what's going on. You know, because these areas of the bodies have become so sexualized, there's kind of shame and, you know, so much mixed messaging about these parts of the body. And we have to get beyond that. We have to embrace these areas of bodies just as a part of the body.
You know
And
what?
take good care of it.
If you think about it, you were always told as a child to cover up, to cover up. I'm always, as you see, covering up. And I think it's how we grew up. You know, you don't talk about that. You don't talk about this. And now women are saying, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I think that's the first thought, because
Talk
nobody
about
wanted to talk about menopause. We talk about it. I will talk about it.
All day
All day.
long.
As will we.
Right?
will we.
You
That's what we
know?
talk about all day long.
But now we're going to, yes, we are going to include the breast health and everything, because that's what we all have. Like, that's what makes us a woman. So talk about it, get it out there, get the stigma out of there, so that way nobody is by themselves concerned that they have a weird, like the girl that I was talking about, like that she's, you know, fearful because of this, you know, mammogram and getting it redone. Talk about it, get it out. Doesn't make it as scary.
Right.
I agree.
I totally agree.
I love it.
Thank you, Kate, so much. I can't thank you enough. And we always say if you want to listen to this completely, you have to listen to this completely. If you want to continue to follow us, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcast. And we want to thank our affiliates that we have: Parlor Games, Good Day Chocolate, Pantry Products, Debbie Shows, yes, Small Picks, yes. That is awesome. And Isogenics. And I thank you, and we can hardly wait to find something else that we will talk about with Kate.
We will. Stay tuned.
Will. So until then, I say, what do we say, Debbie? We will see you, next Tuesday.